Colosseum, a symbol of ancient Rome's grandeur, still stands as one of the greatest architectural feats of all time. But beneath its iconic arches lies a history filled with blood, glory, and untold secrets.
Al, what truly happened?
Inside this legendary arena. Join us as we unravel the mystery of the Colosseum, or the Flavian Amphitheater, as it was originally known, is one of the most iconic structures of ancient Rome. It stands as a testament to Roman engineering, but its origins remain shrouded in mystery. Built between 70 and 80 AD under the emperors Vespasian and Titus, the Colosseum was designed to hold up to 80,000 spectators, making it one of the largest amphitheaters of its time. But what exactly was the purpose behind its construction? At the heart of its creation was a desire to showcase the might and wealth of the Roman Empire. Emperors used public spectacles like gladiator battles, animal hunts, and mock naval battles to demonstrate their power, entertain the masses, and maintain control over the people. However, the story of how the Colosseum was built is far from ordinary. The Colosseum's construction was no small feat. It required an immense workforce, not just of skilled craftsmen and engineers, but also of prisoners of war and slaves. The sheer scale of the arena is mind-boggling. It measures 189 meters long, 156 meters wide, and stands 48 meters high, with 4 stories of arches and columns. But perhaps the most impressive feat was the use of concrete, a material that revolutionized Roman construction. The Romans were pioneers in the use of concrete, which allowed them to build structures that were both durable and lightweight. The Colosseum's concrete core was reinforced with stone, while the outer facade was adorned with marble, giving it a majestic appearance. What makes the Colosseum even more intriguing is the engineering marvels hidden within its walls. Beneath the arena, there were a series of underground chambers known as the hypogeum. This complex network of tunnels and rooms housed animals, gladiators, and stage props, and was used to prepare for the dramatic spectacles that would unfold above. It's believed that elaborate pulley systems were used to lift animals and gladiators into the arena, adding an element of surprise and excitement for the spectators. However, despite its grandeur and technical brilliance, the Colosseum was not built purely for the pleasure of the Roman elite. The spectacles held within its walls were often brutal and violent, reflecting the darker side of Roman culture. Gladiators fought to the death for the entertainment of the public. The roar of the crowd was often deafening as they cheered for bloodshed. As you walk through the Colosseum today, it's easy to see why it has become such a symbol of Roman power. But behind its majestic walls lies a complex history of blood, sacrifice, and the struggle for power. How did the Romans manage to maintain control over such an... When most people think of the Colosseum, the first thing that comes to mind is the gladiators. These fierce warriors who fought for their lives in front of tens of thousands of spectators are a central part of the Colosseum's dark history. But who were these gladiators, and what drove them to fight in such a brutal arena? Gladiators were not always the towering warriors seen in popular films. In fact, many of them were slaves, prisoners of war, or criminals. The Romans turned these men into living spectacles, making them fight not only for their survival but also for their freedom. Some gladiators, however, were volunteersmen who, for various reasons, chose the gladiatorial life. They were often looking for fame, fortune, or the chance to win a significant prize. However, for most, their fate was sealed. To survive the Colosseum was a rare victory. The fights themselves were often violent and deadly. Armed with swords, spears, and shields, the gladiators faced each other in intense one-on-one duels. Some battles involved groups of gladiators fighting in formations, while others were more like choreographed performances designed to impress the crowd. While some gladiators were skilled and well-trained, others were forced to fight without the benefit of much experience or preparation. It was not just gladiators who fought in the Colosseum. Exotic animals were also pitted against human combatants and each other in what were called Venetians' animal hunts. The Romans had a deep fascination with wild beasts. Emperors often flaunted their power by showcasing exotic animals from distant corners of the empire. Lions, tigers, elephants, and even crocodiles were brought into the arena to fight gladiators or other wild creatures in what could be seen as a battle for dominance. These Venetians were just as much a spectacle as the gladiatorial combats, often resulting in brutal and bloody confrontations. The most famous gladiatorial event was the Naumachia mock naval battle staged in the flooded arena. The Romans had the engineering ingenuity to flood the Colosseum with water, transforming the arena into a vast, temporary lake. Here, participants would fight in full-scale mock naval battles, with ships and sailors reenacting naval victories. These events were rare but spectacular, demonstrating not only Roman power, but also their mastery of engineering and spectacle. But the question remains, why did these brutal games hold such a hold over the Roman public? The Colosseum was more than just an arena for entertainment. It was a tool of political propaganda. Emperors used the games to maintain power by entertaining the masses, distracting them from political and economic problems. The bread and circuses system, as it came to be known, was a method by which emperors provided food and entertainment to the people to ensure their loyalty. The more extravagant and violent the games, the more the people were entertained, and the more power the emperors maintained over the public. Despite the cruelty of the gladiator fights and animal hunts, they were incredibly popular. The roar of the crowd, the bloodshed, and the display of power created an electrifying atmosphere that became an integral part of Roman society. But for those who fought in the Colosseum, it was a fight for survival, a brutal, often short life spent in the shadow of the arena. As we look back at the legacy of these spectacles, it becomes clear that they were not just about entertainment. They were a reflection of a society that thrived on violence, spectacle, and the constant reinforcement of power. The Colosseum was both a symbol of Roman grandeur and a dark reminder of the empire's capacity for cruelty in the name of entertainment. The gladiators may be gone, but their legacy still echoes through the halls of the Colosseum, reminding us of the price of glory in ancient Rome. The Colosseum is not only a symbol of Roman might and violence, but also a masterpiece of engineering and architecture. The Romans were renowned for their ability to build monumental structures, and the Colosseum stands as one of their greatest achievements. Its design is a combination of functional practicality and architectural beauty, incorporating elements that were groundbreaking at the time and are still admired today. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Colosseum is its size. The structure spans 189 meters long, 156 meters wide, and stands 48 meters tall. Its outer walls, originally clad in marble, were designed with a sophisticated system of arches and columns. The Colosseum's design was influenced by Roman innovations in engineering, particularly the use of concrete, which allowed the Romans to create large, durable structures without the need for heavy stone blocks. The exterior is a combination of Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian columns, each layer adding to the grandeur of the building. What is truly fascinating about the Colosseum's design is the intricate network of passageways and seating, arrangements that catered to the needs of the enormous crowds. The arena was built to hold between 50,000 to 80,000 spectators, and it was designed with a keen focus on efficiency and crowd management. The entrance and exit routes were meticulously planned to allow the audience to enter and exit quickly, ensuring that large numbers of people could be accommodated without delays. With over 80 entrances, the Colosseum ensured that the crowds could be moved in and out in an orderly fashion. The seating inside the Colosseum was divided according to social status. The closer to the arena one sat, the higher their social rank. The emperor's seat, the best spot in the house, was located at the highest point, offering an excellent view of the arena. Below the emperor, the elite citizens, senators, and high-ranking officials took their seats. The general public, including plebeians, sat further back, with the lower classes occupying the topmost tiers. The vast majority of spectators were seated in the upper levels, but even these seats were designed for comfort, with each tier having its own set of staircases and walkways to allow easy access. The Colosseum also featured an advanced system of retractable awnings called the velarium, which provided shade to the spectators on hot days. The velarium was made of sailcloth and covered much of the arena, creating a cool, shaded environment for the audience. It was operated by sailors from the Roman Navy, who used ropes and pulleys to extend and retract the awning as needed. This level of innovation in providing comfort to spectators was an early example of the Romans' understanding of public needs, and it added to the Colosseum's reputation as a state-of-the-art venue. Beneath the arena, the hypogeum, a vast underground network, was an essential part of the Colosseum's design. This area housed gladiators, animals, and stage props, as well as the intricate machinery that was used to transport them into the arena. The hypogeum was a multi-level complex with over 80 underground passageways. The arena floor was designed to be easily adjustable, allowing it to be transformed into different setups for different events. In addition to the battles and animal hunts, the hypogeum was used for elaborate set designs, with mechanisms that allowed the stage to be changed quickly between events. Trapdoors and elevators were used to bring animals and gladiators to the surface in dramatic fashion, adding an element of surprise and suspense for the audience. One of the greatest engineering feats of the Colosseum was its ability to stage mock naval battles. The arena could be flooded with water, and full-scale ships were used to recreate naval warfare. This innovation required intricate plumbing systems to fill and drain the arena, and it demonstrated the Romans' advanced understanding of hydraulics and engineering. These naval battles, called naumachia, were among the most spectacular events ever held at the Colosseum. Combining the excitement of battle with the spectacle of large-scale engineered water systems, the Colosseum was also built with an early form of crowd control in mind. The Romans understood the power of the masses and took great care in ensuring that the public would remain engaged throughout the events. The clever design of the Colosseum allowed for easy movement within the structure, preventing overcrowding and ensuring the safety of the spectators. As grand and mighty as the Colosseum was in its heyday, its eventual decline mirrors the fall of the Roman Empire itself. By the 5th century, the once bustling arena, the site of gladiatorial combats and grand spectacles, fell into disuse and disrepair. The reasons for its decline are complex, rooted in political, economic, and social changes within the Roman Empire. Yet, despite its waning glory, the Colosseum's legacy continues to shape the world we live in today. The decline of the Colosseum began with the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. As the empire fractured, under the weight of invasions, civil unrest, and internal struggles, the Colosseum, along with many other monumental structures, fell into neglect. The arena's role as a tool for imperial propaganda was no longer necessary, and the lavish gladiatorial games that once filled the Colosseum's seats became less frequent. In 404 AD, the Emperor Honorius banned gladiator combat, marking a definitive end to the bloody spectacles that had defined the Colosseum's purpose for centuries. The next blow came in the form of earthquakes, which caused significant damage to the structure. In 847 AD, a major earthquake severely damaged the Colosseum, causing part of the southern side to collapse. This damage was further exacerbated by subsequent earthquakes in the following centuries, and the building became more and more unstable. What was once a symbol of Roman dominance and architectural triumph became a shell of its former self. Beyond natural disasters, the Colosseum was also plundered for its materials. Throughout the Middle Ages, stones, marble, and other building materials were stripped from the Colosseum and repurposed for other construction projects, including churches and palaces. The fact that the Colosseum was such a large and accessible source of materials made it an easy target for looters, further stripping it of its grandeur. Despite its decline, the Colosseum was never completely abandoned. In fact, during the medieval period, the structure was repurposed for various uses, including housing, workshops, and even a religious site. In the 12th century, parts of the Colosseum were turned into a fortress. As the surrounding area became a center of political activity, the Colosseum's role as a symbol of Roman power and legacy remained in the collective memory of the people, even as it fell into ruin. It wasn't until the Renaissance that efforts to preserve the Colosseum began. Scholars and artists of the time recognized the structure's historical significance and began to push for its protection. However, it was still largely left in a state of neglect until the 18th century, when Pope Benedict XIV declared the Colosseum a sacred site in honor of the Christian martyrs who were believed to have died there. Although there is little evidence that Christians were ever martyred in the Colosseum, this act of recognition marked a turning point in the structure's treatment. In the modern era, the Colosseum became a symbol of Italy's rich historical heritage. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, restoration efforts began, and the Colosseum was preserved as a national monument. It became a symbol of both ancient Roman civilization and the resilience of the Italian people. Today, the Colosseum is one of the most visited tourist attractions in the world, drawing millions of visitors each year who come to marvel at its grandeur and learn about its turbulent past. But what legacy does the Colosseum leave behind? While it is now viewed as a symbol of ancient Rome's architectural genius, it also serves as a reminder of the brutal realities of Roman entertainment. The Colosseum was a place where human life was reduced to mere spectacle, where men fought to the death for the amusement of others. It symbolizes both the greatness and the cruelty of Roman society, and its history forces us to confront the darker aspects of human nature. Yet, despite the violence and bloodshed that took place within its walls, the Colosseum also represents the resilience of human ambition. The fact that such an enormous structure still stands thousands of years later is a testament to the incredible engineering feats of the Romans. It remains an enduring symbol of what humanity can achieve when it combines vision, skill, and determination. In the end, the Colosseum is more than just a monument to the past. It is a living, breathing piece of history. It holds within its stone walls the stories of triumph and tragedy, of glory and suffering, and of the eternal struggle for power. Its decline and eventual preservation reflect the passage of time and the changing values of society. But its presence continues to inspire awe and fascination. As we look to the future, the Colosseum reminds us of the impermanence of human empires, the rise and fall of civilizations, and the legacies we leave behind. Today, the Colosseum stands as one of the most iconic landmarks in the world, a symbol of ancient Rome's glory and a testament to human ingenuity. Despite centuries of wear, earthquakes, and neglect, it remains remarkably resilient. As millions of visitors walk through its grand arches each year, they are not only witnessing a piece of history, but also a reminder of the brutal spectacles that once captivated the Roman Empire. Though its original purpose is long gone, the Colosseum continues to inspire awe and fascination, offering a window into the past, where glory and cruelty coexisted in one unforgettable arena.